What's up, guys, and welcome back to episode number two of season two here in Ballpark Nuts. And we got all four hosts with you today. Chase here, as well as Bryce and Caleb and Marshall. We're all here today, and we're going to be chatting about. Well, I'll let you lead the way there, Luke, since you're the one that wanted to. This is your kind of episode here. I'll let you tell us what we're doing.
Alrighty, so today I will be naming. I'll be giving you off-season move, so it could be trade, signing, whatever. And it's gonna be simple. You guys give me your thoughts on it and grade it. So like simple school grades, A plus, F, stuff like that. And we'll just say we each do our own opinion on it, and then whatever, we just talk. If we disagree, just argue and stuff. Okay,
Sounds good.
So we'll get right into it. So the first signing we're going to talk about it's a signing, and the Texas Rangers have signed Jacob deGrom, 5 years, $185 million with an average salary of $37 million. Jacob deGrom is 34 years old. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, you got it. Like he's one of the number one pitchers in the game right now, coming off of his hurt season, like we mentioned in season one, coming off a kind of injury-marred season, but like he's a stud, and he definitely shouldn't be like. That's a great. I think it's great for Texas, especially with Semien and Seager then on their roster as well. Like I don't know.
So on a scale, what would you give the trade or the signing?
I think for Texas, like it's got to be somewhere in the A's. I'll give it an A. I think it's a great signing for them.
I like the player. I do not like the term. 5 years for deGrom. He's going to be 39. He's had a couple injured plague seasons. I personally like it for the first couple years, but after that, I feel like it's going to be that contract's going to be a liability.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna give the Texas Rangers a B minus, maybe a B. If it was like I'd say 2 to 3 year deal, I would give them an A. But just that extra couple of years, it really hurts. I think the grade of the deal.
Yeah, I got faith he's gonna be like a Verlander. Pitch till he's 40, 41.
Yeah, I was gonna give it a B plus personally. I think the Rangers are trying to make a point, trying to show their fans that they're going to win some games. They got Garcia in the outfield, Seager, like you said, and Semien there, and now some pitchers up front, which I think have potential. So I guess we'll have to see. I think they win more games this year. I think they win 10 more games this year.
Who else they got in their rotation? Oh, for sure with him pitch. Who else they got in their rotation though?
They have Perez,
Gray.
Oh yeah, Gray. Yeah,
Besides
so kind
that, don't ask me.
a bunch of nobodies, but they got deGrom at the front, so
they have a decent top, like a good 1-2.
That's one win every week at least.
Yeah.
If he can stay healthy, that's
that is fair. I hope.
Bryson, do you have any opinions on it?
Yeah, I'm probably about the same. Like I'm about an A minus. I think like last season when I was watching the Rangers, my biggest thing I kept saying was like, I don't know why they signed Semien and Seager and then did nothing with their pitching staff.
Yeah.
So I think they had to make a move because I think their fans were thinking the same thing. So yeah, I also don't really like the length of the contract, but I think they had to pull the trigger because when you spend all that money on those two guys, you gotta show your fans you're going for the win. And so I understand why they paid him what they did. So I'll go with an A minus because I think it's a good move if he can stay healthy. But yeah, only reason it's not an A plus is because that contract I don't think will age super well.
Yeah.
Well, I think that they only did 5 years.
Prime.
Yeah, they only did 5 years because deGrom wanted 5 years, and they're not getting him if they try to get him on a 3. So.
Yeah, exactly.
He's just gonna go somewhere else. They had to pull the trigger at 5, so
right.
He wants to be paid to 39 at least.
For sure.
Alrighty, so contract number 2. It's a signing.
Okay.
San Diego Padres signed 30-year-old Xander Bogaerts to 11-year, $280 million contract, around $25.5 million AAV. just above that. What are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, see, there's so many guys, and we've talked about it before, just like when it happened, us before we were recording this, like there's so many signings that happened that are taking guys to 39, 40 years old, and 41 years old even.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy actually, because there's so many, and I think it's just that snowball effect where it's like, well, he got paid till 39, 40. I want to get paid till 39, 40.
Right.
So there's so many of these contracts that are going so long, but like on paper, like it sounds so great for San Diego, but they're kind of a crowded infield already as it is. But like
Right.
another great stud for San Diego, as long as they can on paper play like they should be on paper. But so far, that definitely doesn't happen. Didn't happen the last 2 seasons, and they had absolutely stud-filled lineups. So I don't know. I think the same thing. Like it's a great name to have on your team. Do we want that long contract? And we have an already crowded infield, I guess, without Abrams now, that you can, like him going to Washington, you can fill that spot with Bogarts. But I think
to outfield.
I think B plus A minus. I still like it. I think it's good for San Diego.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm on the fence. I want to give it like a C plus, just because I think that if you were gonna go out and get a shortstop and move Tatis out to the outfield, I would have rather them gone and get someone like maybe like a Dansby Swanson for cheaper.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Just because I think
good quality still too with Swanson.
There was a lot of good shortstops available this year, and I just think that 11-year contract, and like I know it was probably the same thing with DeGrom, where it's like this is what the guy wants, and like that's kind of where the market was going. But I just don't think to pay a guy into his 40s that much money is gonna go well. And I know sometimes when you're going for the win, you gotta make some sacrifices. But I just think that there was other options, whether that was even leaving Tatis at short and going for a different outfielder or whatever. But yeah, I just don't think that's gonna age well. And you hope that Xander can play. He's a great shortstop, like there's no doubt about that. But you could see in Boston, he was one of those guys who's like he kind of gave up at the back half of last year when they were kind of sucking. And so you just kind of hope that that's not doesn't show his attitude and that he's just kind of going to throw in the towel when things get hard. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I like Xander. We just talked in our last episode about our draft, and I drafted him as my shortstop. So I think he's a good shortstop. I just think that the contract is a little much for me. So I'm going to give it about a C plus.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And for me, I was going to go with a B minus. If it was a 7-year, same annual, maybe even a little bit more annual pay per year, I mean, that's phenomenal, I think. But yeah, just that 11-year, we all agree on it. The contracts this year were crazy. The money dished out was crazy, and that's just what we're dealing with now, I guess, in the MLB. Big money game.
Personally, I am okay with them paying him for 11 years. Like Bogarts is a top tier shortstop in the league. Like he's one of the best, and he hasn't had any significant injuries. Like I'm looking at his injuries.
He's been a pretty healthy guy.
He's missed a total in his career. He's missed a total of 29 games, and 10 of that was because of COVID. 10 of that was because of COVID. He's consistent 300 hitter. He has a little bit of pop in that bat. I do think 11 years is a bit much, but oh well. He's been relatively healthy. It's like you can expect him to play 150 games a year. So I'm giving it around a B plus, A minus around there.
Yeah.
I really like Bogarts as a player, and I think he's one of the best at short, and I think he's worth I think the AAV like $25 million. That's compared to other shortstops, that's pretty good.
Yep. And it's another big name for the Padres. I mean, the amount of big names they have.
That's crazy.
The amount of big names they have. I mean, that's going to catch you fans, young fans, right? So
I think you have to realize too in baseball now it's like money talks.
It's going to pay your jersey sales.
Those are the guys you just got to pay. If you want the stars, you got to fork it out.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Now Soto can just get his batting average back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can turn it around.
Those Soto contracts we were talking about 2-3 years ago or whatever, a couple of years ago, they don't seem so big anymore. Seems like that's just regular money.
Honestly, it's cheap now.
Alrighty, so we'll move on to the next move. And this is a trade.
Baby.
Okay.
Minnesota Twins acquire Pablo Lopez, Josh
Mm.
Sala, Brian
Mhm.
Trio. Miami acquires Luis Ariz. Who wins this trade and why?
Originally, when I saw it, I didn't see. Originally I only saw Lopez, and I didn't see Trio or Salas,
Same for me.
and I thought that the Marlins stole that because Arias coming off his batting title for Lopez, and Lopez is going to be a good pitcher, but I thought they stole it. But with those two prospects, like those are big prospects
Yeah,
moving over
they're
to
good,
the Twins.
good top tier prospects too.
They really are. So, but like I've seen a lot of people saying it's a good like win-win trade for both teams, and I can definitely see that. Like to have like Miami's lineup's kind of looking a little scary even now with
Yep.
like Jazz even potentially playing outfield, and he said he would go out there and win a Gold Glove in the position if they moved him to outfield. But like, yeah, and then the Twins are looking good with those two prospects as well as Lopez in the rotation. So I don't know. I think it's a pretty decent trade for both of them, but maybe even slightly. I thought maybe Marlins would have won it slightly, but I think maybe Twins maybe slightly just because those two prospects, those are big prospects moving over to Minnesota.
Yeah, I totally agree with Chase on that one.
Yeah, I think it was kind of like people are saying it's a win-win just because the Marlins had such a surplus of pitchers.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
they were able to trade
and
Lopez and a
Sixto.
couple guys, and they had their lineup was definitely their weakness last year. So
And they needed a batter, so
yeah, so honestly, I think it's a tough one to pick a winner, but I guess I'd probably lean the Marlins just because I think that they traded out of a surplus and got something that's going to help them, win this
more
year
than they will the other way
and
around.
make their lineup more potent. Yeah, and I think the Twins, I think Lopez will be a great addition to the rotation. Like, that's not a question, but I think that, that good infielders are tough to come across, and so I think losing Arias will probably hurt them a bit more than maybe we see right now. But yeah, it's pretty tight either way. But I'd probably lean the Marlins winning,
Kind of like
just
picking your MVP.
by a hair.
Kind of like picking your MVP between a team that's going to the playoffs and a team that's not, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's
Right.
like it's a tough call, but yeah, I think just because the Marlins were able to they traded out of something that they had extra of, and they got something that's going to help them. I think that's long term. I think I'm gonna say that they won the trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think also Pablo Lopez, he really built his value this last year. I mean, he was in
he had a good season.
he was in the Cy Young talk for months, right? So
Built his value up.
So yeah, I mean,
Marlins capitalized on it.
That could bite the Twins if he doesn't perform like he did last year, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
So my thoughts on this trade is I play fantasy like football with a bunch of guys from Minnesota, and they are absolutely furious with this trade. And I kind of see where they're coming from. Every year the Twins are interested in this guy, interested in this guy, interested in this guy, interested in this guy. But this is what they get. They get Chris Paddock and Pablo Lopez. They're bringing in Pablo Lopez to be the ace, and I just don't see him being an ace. You gave up the AL batting champion for a guy who could barely fit into the Marlins rotation. Like, your team got worse, and Twins, like, it just goes to show with the Austin Martin situation where prospects go there and they just don't do anything. They don't know how to develop players. So, like, their rotation is Joe Ryan's. I like him. He had a good year.
Yeah.
Pablo Lopez.
If he can return on that same.
Yep.
Pablo Lopez, season. Whatever. Chris Paddock's probably going to be hurt most of the season.
Yeah.
And then, like, Kenta Maeda is, like,
washed as well.
Yep.
Don't forget Sonny Gray.
And Sonny Gray is
Sonny Gray.
Yankees legend.
Also dust.
Yankees legend.
I just don't see this Twins team improving at all last year. Like this improving.
It's going to take a couple of years until Salas and Trio get there, kind of thing.
And they probably won't even get there the way
Look at traded away.
like they had what's his first overall pick? Oh, what's his name? Royce Lewis. Look at him. Was top prospect, has done nothing.
Yeah, and they just they brought him up, did so
Then they
well,
signed
and they're like,
Correa.
nah.
And then he got hurt too.
Yeah, the whole Correa situation. Oh boy,
Yeah, what a
that's
fiasco
an
that
episode for
was.
itself.
Alrighty. I think the Marlins won it by a landslide.
Yeah, and that's what I thought originally too until I saw the prospects, but
Yeah, future.
I don't really
now.
count the prospects because Twins can't develop prospects.
that's
Sounds like
and
the
that's a fair
Canucks,
point. If you get good prospects but have no idea how to manage
Remember-
them, like
Remember when the Blue Jays traded Martin? He was a top 10 prospect?
yeah, it was
Now what is
crazy.
hasn't he fallen off the top?
Yeah, nobody
Oh,
even
yeah.
talks about him.
But he fell off the cliff.
Yeah,
Didn't the Jays also trade them like that one pitcher, Simeon Woods
Richardson, he's
yeah, he's MIA.
Jays full of players we'll trade. Well,
They
Jose
just need to
Barrios
use them.
sucks, but
The teams that are always good are the teams that know how to develop their prospects.
true.
Yep.
I always view free agency as a plan B because you failed on plan A, and that's developing players.
Yeah,
Unless
Yeah,
you're the
just
Mets
use
and you
your
just
own
have an
farm
endless supply of money.
Right.
yeah.
New York.
Apparently.
Alrighty, this one's gonna be. Well, let me get it up here. Oh my gosh, hold up. New York Yankees
Uh-oh.
I knew it was coming.
Aaron Judge.
F.
sign Aaron Judge.
F,
I do not have. Oh, here we go.
F
New York
minus.
Yankees sign Aaron Judge, 9 years,
F+.
$360 million, 40 AAV. This brings him
See.
to the age of 39. Thoughts?
I already have thoughts. I just wish they would have signed him at the start of the season. Like we knew that we wanted him. We knew that he wanted to stay. We didn't know he was going to hit 62 home runs, but we knew if he stayed healthy, he was hitting home runs and he was hitting for average, and he walks a lot. He gets on base a lot. So I just don't know why they didn't think he was worth what he was asking then, because now we're just paying so much more to keep him. That 9-year contract, though, is again hefty. It's hefty. Like, will he be a guy that can last that long? Like 4 years, yeah, that's good. But after 4 years, like, I think he'll be more of a veteran presence in the dugout, and we're still paying him $40 million a year.
More kind of like a Stanton,
yeah.
situation.
Exactly.
You don't want to end that deal end up being like Albert Pujols to the Angels. Where it's
Don't get
just,
me wrong. I really like seeing Judge back. I'm really happy he's the captain. I really like him a lot. But
Yeah.
just from a financial and future outlook, I guess long-term future, like 5 years from now, yeah, I'm pretty happy with it 5 years from now. But 9 years from now,
Right.
probably not. 5 to 9 years from now, probably not.
And who knows
So
where we'll see the league in that time, but
Yeah.
Aaron Judge,
So-
on top of the money we'll give you, will also make you captain because captains are the most important thing in baseball.
Yep.
no, I think it's good for the franchise. I think he's a
I think
franchise
it's great
guy.
for the franchise, yeah. Great for
He's
the
the
fans.
biggest
Fans
name.
love him.
One of the biggest names in baseball. I mean, you
Yeah,
have
it's
to
just
sign
like-
him.
Just seems like a really good guy, too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, Yankees management and owners screwed up by not giving him the money earlier.
Did they
For
ever?
sure.
I just
Well,
the
they tried.
whole
They
season
tried.
I thought the same thing. The whole season.
Thing is, another thing with Judge is I think he was. The thing I'm worried about is I think he was playing for the contract. Now that he has it, how is he going to play? Because I don't think he's going to hit 60 home runs every year. But if he
No.
can get consistent
If he
30 to
hits-
40
I
home,
was gonna say if he hits 30 to 40,
100 RBIs,
yeah,
and whatever,
I'd
even-
be laughing.
even for 6 years out of the 9, you're in good shape.
Yeah, I agree.
Great shape. I'd be so if he hit 30 to 40 home runs a year for even 5 years straight from now. Yeah,
Especially if the Yankees can pick up a good left fielder and third baseman.
The thing is, I don't
I just-
like what they have around, like the Yankees have around Judge.
No, me neither.
They have too many low average hitters.
I think they should have capitalized on Glaber's high value coming out of the season value, and I think they should have, because now their infield's going to get crowded because Volpe's coming up.
Yep.
And Cabrera can play left field.
Cabrera can play anywhere.
Can play any, or yeah, I should have said you can play anywhere.
Besides catcher and pitcher, that's about it.
Yeah, so
I think
I
you
would've
really
liked-
needed to go out and get another star to put beside Judge.
yeah, that would have been
But
nice.
again, your management is stuck with like Stanton's contract.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Like, I think Cole's contract is getting closer and closer to being a liability. How much they're paying him. They just have
Fair.
too many bad contracts on the books.
Yeah, it
I
would have
think
been nice to get a nice
the,
stud in the field.
I definitely think that the Yankees should go and get Brian Reynolds. I think he's going to be a guy who's going to hit for average. I know last year he didn't really hit for average, but in his career, he's shown he can do it. And getting to play in Yankee Stadium, and I think playing for a competitive team, he would bounce back, and I think he would be a great guy to kind of hit in that 2-hole, 2-3-hole kind of in front of Judge. The guy who's going to get on base, and because I think that they have too many power bats there, and they need some guys who are going to get on base.
Some average bats.
You kind of hope that that's what Volpe's going to do for you.
Yeah,
we got DJ back too this year too.
DJ
so we
can
got to
stay
remember
healthy,
that.
maybe.
And DJ, if he can stay healthy too. So,
But he's getting old too. What is he? 33 now, probably.
yeah.
He's
And
up there.
And the other thing about Brian Reynolds is, even though he's not the best defensive player in the league, like, you're not going to get much worse than Aaron Hicks. So, I mean, improve.
Hey, he's apparently the guy though. He's breaking
guy
out
this
this
year.
season.
All right, he's hitting 300 this year, boys.
Here first.
Brett Gardner's coming back.
Okay, so we'll do probably one or two more.
Sure.
Okay, so we'll Chicago Cubs sign
Ooh.
Cody Bellinger to a 1-year, $17.5 million contract. I think this is an F.
Ooh.
Not happy with the pay. Well, I mean, it doesn't. I could care less what the Cubs do, but I think if I was a Cubs fan, I wouldn't be happy with the pay. I'd be happy with getting him, I think, because obviously he's shown that he can. Not in the past 3 years, but before that he could have. But like 17 mil on a guy that's been barely cracking 200 for the past 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah. I'd give him 12 million max.
Yeah,
Not even. I don't even think he's worth that.
8 to 10.
This is his last couple seasons. Last year, batted 210 with 19 home runs. The year before that, batted 165 with 10 home runs.
I think
And
he would have been.
he hasn't been
Joey
relevant since
Gallo.
2019.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like 3-4 years that he's been actually.
When I heard the
He's been-
Jays are in on him, I was like, okay, this is type of guy the Blue Jays like. Maybe they can. Well, Blue Jays fans, they live in the past. Like, they assume every signing is going to be this guy's, or every trade and signing. Oh, this guy's going to turn out to be Josh Donaldson. And I was like, okay, if we can get Bellinger at, like, I was thinking max paying for him was like 10 million maybe. Like, even that I think was an overpay. But $17.5 million, that's he's the sixth highest paid center fielder in the MLB this year.
And he's definitely not the 6th best center fielder.
Yeah.
No.
I'd pay Harrison Bader more.
Oh, 100%.
I think this is one of those signings where it's going to be either an F minus, or it's going to be like an A because he's going to all of a sudden figure out how to play baseball again.
Was
But I
thinking
still
the
think the
exact
money
same
is
thing.
too much. I still think it's too much money for him.
See, I
But
wanted
it's
to.
one of those signings where it's like either they're going to look like geniuses or they're just going to be like another classic. Like, what the hell are you thinking?
Right.
Probably hoping
wanted-
he becomes like decent and then probably trade him at the deadline.
Yeah.
use
I mean, the
some high
Cubs lineup's
value.
looking pretty not too bad. But yeah, I still think even if you plug him in at like 7, 8, 9 spot, even if, I just don't think it's worth 17 mil.
No.
Well, Nico Horner's just so underrated.
Yeah,
is,
I was,
yeah.
I was
he
so
hits
happy I
300
could
plus.
pick him up on fantasy.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh yeah, he flies under the radar heavy.
He really does. Well, little injuries here and there, but like he's never like out. But he did have a little bit of injuries last year. But he just he just hits for 300 all the
Yeah.
time.
For sure.
So yeah,
Alrighty.
I wanted to give it an F, but I think just what Bryson said, the potential for him to actually just break out, I think I'd have to give C- or a C,
Right in the
but
middle,
probably a
just
C-,
because it's unpredictable.
just because it's unpredictable.
Yeah, it's literally
Right.
gonna be a coin flip.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll call this one like a kind of combine both of them into one. It's involving the Blue Jays. We're just going to call it the Blue Jays' moves. So Blue Jays acquired Dalton Varsho, Eric Swanson, and Adam Macko, and they trade away Teoscar Hernandez, Gabriel Moreno, and Lourdes Gurriel Jr. We'll start with
Yeah.
Bryson. What are your thoughts as a Diamondback fan?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Honestly, like when the trade, like when it first got announced, I was like, holy smokes, we just absolutely fleeced the Jays. But the more I looked into it, and the more like I actually thought about it and just kind of took away name value and just kind of like thought about it realistically, I think it makes sense for both sides. I think in order to get like Varsho is another guy who's really underrated, like because again he plays in Arizona, and so you don't get the hype that other teams get. And so I think the Jays fans are gonna be pleasantly surprised at what they get in him if he plays the same way he did here. And I think that for us, we desperately needed a catcher. We have Carson Kelly and then literally nobody. So, and Varsho really wasn't playing catcher for us. He's playing more
playing outfield,
outfielder.
right?
Yeah, he plans on
so
playing
he didn't
outfield
want to
for the
play
Jays.
catcher. So, and yeah, he's not going to play catcher for the Jays, obviously. Like, he's not going to be there.
Jays
with
are loaded
Curtin
at
Jansen.
catcher.
Yeah, they got a couple catchers.
I think in the sense of that trade, I think Jays fans definitely overreacted a bit, but there always is going to be overreaction when you trade away one of your top prospects, right? So
And one
I
of your
think it's a
top
win-win for both
outfielders.
teams. Yeah, I think like I'm happy with what we got for Varsho, like getting Moreno and then adding Gurriel. I think like that's about as good as it's going to get for a player like Varsho. So I'm happy with what like our management did, but I also understand the Jays' view of things as well and needing that outfielder. And he is a great defender, and he's great in the field. And so I think that's good. And then I think Swanson was another underrated reliever. Like I think he was kind of in the mix with the Mariners last year with like they had Munoz and Sewald and all those guys, and so I think he kind of flew under the radar. But I think the Jays needed a bullpen boost very badly. Like their bullpen was atrocious. So I think that's another trade that they had to pull the trigger on because,
Jays do need a
again, like
bullpen.
Teoscar was just one of those guys where it's like he'd been there long enough and he wasn't horrible, but it just wasn't working out. Like it was just one of those things where they needed some fresh faces out there and to try to spark the team because they've been so close and just can't get over the hump. And so I think their moves that the Jays had to make, they had to switch things up, and I think they got good return for what they gave up, in my opinion. Anyways, I don't know. Jays fans might not agree with me, but
we'll hear from a Jays fan right now.
So the Teoscar trade confused me at the start. I was like, you just gave up a top, like, I wouldn't say top tier, but really good hitter, power hitter for a bullpen arm. And then this was my original thought when the Gurriel trade, like when we got Varsho, was I think ownership and management were sick and fucking tired of the goofiness in the dugout. I think that's what it came down to because Gurriel and Teoscar, they're all goofing around in there.
yeah.
So I think they wanted, like, they hired Don Mattingly as a bench coach. He's a serious guy. So they're like, okay, I don't like this crap going on in the dugout. This fooling around. Let's get serious and win a World Series. So you bring in Varsho, who I've looked at. He's like seems like he's wants to win. And
I like him.
He's a great dugout guy.
You improved
Seems like a good guy.
Still think they need to make one more move. And then, thing with Varsho is I like that package that you gave up. I think you could have went out and gotten a better player, but I'm not like too bad about it because Varsho is what they needed. Left-handed power bat with speed, can play the field, can catch. So like I would personally Moreno didn't have a spot on the team, so I didn't
kind
really
of
care.
position blocked.
moving. Yeah, so I give both moves. I give the Jays about a B, but I was giving them an F at the start, so they improved. But I still think they need to make that one move, like go out and get another bullpen arm.
Yep.
Like they were
I would
interested
say
in
so, too.
Hendricks, but the Hendricks is probably not going to
so
play
tough.
this year.
Yeah.
So tough
Should have
to
went
hear.
out and got Aroldis Chapman.
He's cheap.
Very cheap.
I'm surprised I didn't go and get someone like a Kenley Jansen.
Yeah. Just a 1-year contract.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you say Kikuchi.
Yeah.
yeah, he'll just carry the bullpen.
Like, and then the Blue Jays, they need that one more arm because it's like, I think, I don't
They
know.
just get past this. Like they have a good rotation. They just get past the starters, and it's just downhill.
I think like
There's nobody
Romano's
to hold up a
good.
lead.
I think Swanson. Another hot take. I think Swanson takes over Romano's spot. I just have a feeling Romano's gonna have a down year. I don't know why.
The nose piercing.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Probably it.
He also did tail off a bit towards the end of the year. There, he
He
started.
had a
Yeah.
great start to
bit.
the season.
Oh,
He always got into trouble, but he always got out of it. But
Yeah.
sometimes that sometimes doesn't work all the time.
Well, that's not what you want from your closer. You don't want him to
60%
kind of
of
always
the
get in
time,
trouble.
works every time.
And I think Blue Jay season comes down to Barrios needs to bounce back.
If Barrios can be a stud, that's a scary rotation with Manoah. And
Yeah.
Gosman.
Plus you have
Gosman.
Tiedemann. Tiedemann, like they're saying, they wouldn't be surprised if
Well, is Tiedemann a bullpen guy or is he a starter?
he's a starter.
He's a
Okay.
starter.
Then
but he's
another
like
guy
19.
is where the hell's Nate Pearson at?
That guy
This
Where
is
the
his
hell
year.
he?
disappeared.
Like he.
Disappeared.
This is what I hate about the Blue Jays bullpen all the time. They always have like they sign these like guys who throw like 92, 93, whatever, good curveball. I want the guys who come in and throw 102 miles an hour.
And then puke on the mound.
Like the Orioles bullpen. I think every guy in that bullpen throws at least 97.
That's a good
Snake
bullpen. That's an
Snake
underrated
Kopech at
bullpen.
a cheap value. Guy throws 102-ish.
If Nate Pearson could come and like be a stud,
Dominate a fastball.
like I need to look at what's the Blue Jays bullpen. I'm gonna rate everyone in that bullpen on my honest opinions.
I think Kopech has a bounce back season. I'm
I
high on
agree.
him.
I think the White Sox as a whole have a bounce back season.
Oh,
True.
you
They got a good
would have to
lineup.
think so. You would have to think so.
Okay. Romano, good. Meza, trash. Bass, all right. Garcia, all right. I really Simber,
Yeah.
Timber's
Trevor
up and down.
trash.
Yeah.
That's it.
Nah, fair enough. Pearson,
Yeah.
if you find him.
Kikuchi.
Kikuchi.
Oh, Kikuchi's a starter.
Goated.
Oh, I forgot. Bassett signed. That's who the Jays signed.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Who
I
they
forgot
signed.
about Bassett.
What was it,
Another
3 year?
good-
3 year, right?
It's a good piece right there.
Yeah.
What, are you good fourth guy in the rotation?
They need to go out and get a fifth guy because I don't think you could say Kikuchi or Mitch White out there.
No.
I wanted the
Definitely
Jays
not
to get Johnny
Kikuchi.
Cueto. Is Johnny Cueto still available?
I think
I don't
so.
know.
Guy
Oh,
puts
well,
up decent numbers every year.
Oh, he
I've been-
signed with the Marlins, it looks like.
Why
I thought
do
he did
Marlins
sign.
just keep signing pitchers?
Get
no,
rid
I
of
think
Lopez. Get rid
I
of
think Blue
Lopez. Sign
Jays.
Cueto.
I think Blue Jays might go out and make another move, and they'll have a complete 5. That's what I honestly think.
Well, I think they want to lead, like they don't want to bring anyone in long term because
Yeah.
I think like they're saying like Tiedemann could possibly pitch
I was
sometime
gonna
next
say, when
season.
did I think Tiedeman's gonna play? But yeah, next season maybe.
And he's 21 years old. Well,
How
and he's a
old's Manoah?
lefty. Manoah is like 23, I think.
Okay.
24.
Tiedemann was unreal last year.
25.
The Miners.
I think
He's
it's
like a
gonna.
top 5 pitching prospect right now.
Well, he's so nasty.
Orioles are looking nasty 3 years from now.
Yeah. Gunnar Henderson.
Orioles needed to go out and make a big splash in free agency, in my opinion.
So Orioles need to?
Yeah, they should have.
Mm.
They got that young talent, though. They're going to wait a couple of years, then they're going to hit big money. That's what they should do.
Okay, we'll do one more, and then we'll call it a day.
All right.
Okay, my laptop's slow, so we're going to do the Carlos Rodon signing. Quick thoughts, then we'll call her in.
I'm happy with it. What did they pay again for him?
Okay, here I got it here now. 6-year deal with $162 million, 27 AAV. 30 years old.
He's 30?
Yeah.
I am happy with that, especially with the 6 years, putting him at 36 when the contract finishes. Maybe a slight touch happier if it was a 5-year, but I think that's not an outrageous length of contract, and we could have maybe saved a couple bucks, but I think that's not bad. And I really like Rodon. He's been solid for past while. Been kind of a reliable guy to come to, so I feel very comfortable slotting him at 2 in the rotation for the Yankees this season and the next few seasons behind Cole. So I'm pretty happy with it. I'd go B+, A-. I'm pretty happy with it.
I'm also very happy with it. I think if the Yankees pitching staff can pitch like they did last year, I think the league's in for a lot of trouble, and if they can somehow improve, offensively.
They got a nasty 1, 2, 3, 4, even 5 if you want to go that deep.
Yeah,
like
I wouldn't bank on Nestor having the same year he did last year.
No,
see, that's it. I really want him to have another good season, but I'm so scared that he won't.
Yeah. I guess we'll have to wait and see. We're under 60 days to go till opening day, so we're not even 2 months away. So
Can't wait.
Another Rodon, another pitcher for the Blue Jays to absolutely make them their daddy.
Easiest team in the league to face.
Cole would, man. Alrighty, so you want to close her out, Chase?
Yeah, another good epi in the books. Thanks for listening, everybody. Hope you enjoyed our second episode, and stay tuned for this weekend's new podcast, episode 3. It'll be a good one. All right. This all of us at Ballpark Nights. See you guys later.